Hello from Safonovo. This is a podcast Pigeon of Peace where we do discuss awesome skills of troubleshooters. Watch, listen, and check the description below for the details. Let's talk about globalization and let's start with the definition.
Globalization is a modern way of living when you could find everything everywhere. And let's remember, you have been to Bali not recently, and it was discovery for me on the same island. I have been to US and I have been working for Marriott chain of hotels for 3 or 4 months, and I so tired and I asked to go somewhere, and then I got an invitation from Singapore to go to Melia Bali. Then I came there and I was staying at Nusa Dua. There are several hotels like Sheraton, Melia Bali, and something else I couldn't remember. And then I am so tired to eat all of this seafood. I was working on the project, so I was eating in canteen. I was eating not with guests, so it was all-time shrimps, all-time anchovies, all-time other stuff. And if you remember, on Bali, sometime you will get not just dry lobster, you will get it in the water in the south. So it's quite strange and not tasty. And then I was going in the middle of, I couldn't remember the city, close to the Nusa Dua. And then, oh, you remember?
Probably Denpasar.
Denpasar, this is the main capital, yes? Capital and
That's correct.
also airport. I came there and I was going to the walking street. Suddenly I saw McDonald's. I never have been there. I have been just one time in 1991 in Moscow. Then I have been, I don't know, maybe in 1998 in Kiev. And then I was able to go there like in 2003 or 2004. And I came there and suddenly I found all items I have seen everywhere. I was so astonished. I was expecting to have something new, something specific, something oriental, but all the smells, all the colors, all the packages were the same and even uniform. And I was eating this, I don't know how to say it, French fries,
French
French
fries.
fry sticks, and I was going through this um, street. Suddenly, I found I know how to say stand with watches, and they were replicas. And suddenly, I realized I was hoping after several days to go diving, but I forgot my suunta. It's a Finnish free divers and divers watches. And I asked the guy on the street what he could offer. And suddenly he gave me like G-Shock Adidas. And I asked him, will they work like for 5 days? Price of them was like $5. And he told me they will work for 5 years. Okay, we were laughing. I was thinking this is a joke. But you know what's funny? Some buttons on this watches will not work because at this time I have the same but original one and it was slightly different. But you know, these watches were working for 6 or maybe 7 years. They were lack of some features, so they were just several kinds of timer and nothing more, without melodies and without signals and so on. But I was so astonished. So I could buy somewhere on the middle of ocean in on the equator. I could buy the same watches as everywhere. I could buy McDonald's as everywhere. And then after several days, I found ketchup, Heinz 57 in the store. Which I like to eat when I have been working with Marriott. And this is globalization. You could go everywhere and you will find bottle of the Coke. You could go everywhere and you will find jerkies.
Well, I do believe, maybe from my opinion, the globalization is maybe like, I would call it like a presence of the certain trade or not so trade empire across the block, across the globe. And to do that, you need to have like a scale, you need to brand visibility, and maybe what other things you need to have in order to actually be one of the agents of the globalization.
While globalization is an economical process, yes, you could produce your product and deliver worldwide, but also it's also ideas spreading. For example, people start thinking about, I don't know, health food or about Pilates or about how to achieve some kind of goals. For example, I have been with Tony Robbins, and he was coming to Moscow. And when we were sitting in St. Regis, Moscow, and when we were sitting in St. Regis in New York, we were sitting on the same chairs, and we were eating with the same spoons, and we were eating the same cake. And it's very strange. For example, you could everywhere ask for eggs Benedict. You could, for example, ask for fish and chips, not just in England. And if you will go to the store, you could find T-shirt of Abercrombie Fitch, or maybe Puma, or maybe sneakers of Reebok, all the colors, and it's quite strange. I have been working in China for Bank of China, first largest bank, and I was presented pen Montblanc. And previously, like several years ago, I have been working to Germany, and I ask, is it copy? And they say me, no, this is the only pen and the only company which has less copy than everyone else. If we will give you Waterman, if you give you Parker, it could be copy, but no one is going to copy Montblanc because it is a very domestic company.
And when we actually, let's say, when we move the territories, at certain point of time, yes, as you rightfully say, nowadays, I think across the globe, you can order this egg Benedict, and it feels like you already in home. But at certain point of time, what I started noticing, when you see, let's say, authentic kitchen, or maybe when you see something that is definitely belongs to this territory, it actually feels more warmer because you feel like it's real. Because other than that, everything else is more like a replica. For example, you can get pizza and spaghetti everywhere. Shoes or anything else is all the same. So it feels that, okay, maybe I'll put it this way, like there is a cider, everything is becoming like a ciderish or lemonish. So whether it's like maybe like a tragedy of the globalization where, it eats the authenticity or not.
I will give you a recent example. Several days ago, I got from USA my lovely soundbuds. And previously, I was buying it from Bose, this very nice company, which also produce headphones for astronauts. But suddenly they decided to fall apart as project which I like, Sleep Buds. It was first version and second version. And three guys from this company, they came out and they started on Kickstarter to collect money. They make like crowdsourcing, and they created like so-called soundbuds 3, but now they call like Oslo. And I ordered this for double price and so on. And I was so happy to have it. And I asked this one guy, which is technician, we have connection in LinkedIn, why you are going out of the company. And he told me, Bose is not interested in your issue the product in amount less than 100,000. And I was so astonished. It's too big. And I asked, okay, and how many Oslo you want to sell? And they say, we just produced 10,000. And I was just astonished. After I write in LinkedIn some articles and my feedback, I got a call via Facebook from China. It was from Encore company, and they also asked, maybe you will try our A30 headphones we just create. It is 8 times cheaper and it has some features and so on. And I was thinking, wow, it's the globalization. I just paying the money to US. I got the product. Then I write in LinkedIn. Then I got a call. Now I will get this buds for free. I will test them and also put in LinkedIn. I don't know how many people would read it. I would make it in China. So I would make it in German. I would make it in Japan and so on. And I was thinking, what's a wonderful word. I could write on any language on some platform and a lot of people would read. Several days ago, I recensed. It's okay to say recensed? Reviewed a book. It's a year for lonely people. And suddenly I got several responses from people French speaking, Spanish speaking, and I was thinking how they could read my review. And I asked one woman, which is motivational speaker, how you could read, and she told me, yes, but I have special button, see the translation. And I was thinking, wow, it's also globalization. So people could read Russian language I used.
Well, it's actually funny because it's similar to what I was about to ask. At a certain point of time, yes, there could be everything is equal, but even with the translation, some of the things might be lost or the quality could be different. What I kind of noticed, since you mentioned McDonald's, I think when it was in Russia, it was like okay-ish store, like quite nice. It would be okay to go there. But for example, if you go there in Singapore, surprisingly, it's not so good place. It's like a cheap place. Same thing with, I would say, like a medicine. For example, Biroka in Southeast Asia, it looks different. In Dubai, it looks different. It's like a smaller, maybe the color is different, while in Russia, it's like a bigger package. Same as for clothes. I do believe there is a brand, like if you buy it in Dubai, you will see on the back, it will be saying something like produced in Portugal. But when you buy it in Armenia, it would be said like produced in China. So again, like it's a globalization, but it could have like a different tastes. So probably I do believe when we speak about it, maybe it's also differentiation, like who exactly you want to sell, like what is your source? And again, like whether the globalization could affect the customers with a different taste, with a different value, so that they can feel actually, this brand is good, or vice versa. Someone who buy the best will say, no, it's not true, it's really good one.
I would tell you two stories about globalization. First, I read the book Made in Sony. It was written by uh, just forgot the name of the man who converted company which was a producer of noodle to the company which produced machine. And he was writing in this book, it was a time when we were so shy that we produce our video recorders in Japan, that we put the smallest letter we can and we make them smaller until custom in US says, come on, you couldn't use such a I don't know how to say, size of the letters, it's too small, and we were forced to increase them. But after several years, our quality became quite good, and in USA, electronic from Japan and car from Japan all seems to be quite reliable. Another example, I was working for a guy, HTC company, it's his initials, and it was time when he was producing iMate, QMate, and some other kind of phone or even gadgets. And at some point of view, we created some nice looking operational system, but it was having several bugs. And I asked him, we couldn't sell this, it's just bullshit. And he answer me, yes, I would produce this shit and sell it to get money to produce I don't know how to say, better shit, and sometime it would become a gold. And those phones I have seen to be sold in Korea, in China, in Russia, in Ukraine, in Kazakhstan. And it's very funny because Taiwan, it's very small island in the middle of nowhere. And if you will see it on the country, it's very strange. For example, in Ukraine, in Russia, in Kazakhstan, in Belarus, it's quite big countries, but there are no producers of cell phones. But Taiwan do it and do it even maybe better than other countries.
Well, fair enough. Then my last question will be how knowing about globalization could help to make this world a better place.
When we finish, I will tell you a story. I was creating internet shop in Ukraine, and it was a very small one, and I have like 12,000 competitors, and nothing will tell that I will have glory to be number one and so on. But suddenly I was growing, and I was asked, is it possible to sell and ship goods to the Belarus? And I say, yes, we can. And then it was Kazakhstan, then it was Germany, Poland, Czech, Slovak, Hungary, Spain, and so on. And at one day, suddenly I realized that I could ship all over the Europe, and I became second Europe internet shop. The same was with my antivirus. His name was Ukrainian National Antivirus. And firstly, it was made just with Ukrainian interface. Then we translated to Russian, to Spanish, and we were selling in Peru, and we were selling on Australia, we were selling even, let me remember, like Faroe Island, Similan Island, Azure Island, and some very small stuff. And it was so funny. Sometimes I would be recognized in the airports or in hotels. Are you producer of this antivirus? And it was quite interesting. It was even the great story how I met Jackie Chan. I was together with Eugene Kaspersky, and he was creating advertising, and we meet in the hotel to talk about conference which will go in Hong Kong. Suddenly, it was a Jackie Chan. He was starring in some commercial ad for Kaspersky, and we meet each other. And I was saying, "Oh, I'm competitor. Maybe sometime I would hire you," but it never happened.
Well, this is funny enough. And we reviewed the skill of globalization and how it could be helpful for you. Stay in peace.